Hello, everybody, and welcome. So we're looking at the calculating circumference and area worksheet. That is the second to last one we need to complete from our circumference and area portion. And so here it says for the following problems, use pi 3.14, and you may use a calculator. You may have noticed that there is actually a pi symbol on some of your calculators. And if necessary, we're going to round our answers to 2 decimal places. All right, so we're not estimating here, we're actually calculating the area and circumference of the following circles. So it says a circle has a radius of 1.5 meters. I like to draw mine out. So being a visual learner, I'm going to start here in the center because it's radius, and I'm going to draw a point over here. So we got 1.5, and this is m for meters. Find its circumference and area. I don't remember exactly how I find circumference and area. Well, it's a good thing I have my other worksheets here. I've also got my exercise worksheet. But we see here that the circumference is pi multiplied by the diameter, or pi multiplied by twice the radius. And so here it's given me only the radius. So my equation is going to be circumference equals pi times the diameter. Or in this case, it's going to be pi times twice the radius. And notice this says 2r and not r squared. So c equals pi times c. 1.5 times 2, that's going to give me 3. So it's going to be pi times 3. And so that's going to be 3.14 multiplied by 3. And let's see, when I do that on my calculator, 3.14 times 3, that gives me 9.42. And I need my label here of meters. And since this is circumference, we're just looking at the distance around the shape, right? Circumference means we're going all the way around. So we're not worried about what's on the inside. Therefore, it's just going to be meters. All right, let's take a look at the next part here. It says and area. So we just did circumference. Now we're looking at everything on the inside here, the area. All right, again, we're going to utilize the radius that is given to us. So we have 1.5 for the radius. Oh, shoot, what is my formula for finding the area of a circle? Ooh, right here. So it's area equals pi times the radius squared. All right, notice it's radius squared. So it'd be like 5 squared. That'd be the same thing as 5 times 5. All right, you need to multiply it by itself. So area equals pi multiplied by the radius squared. My radius here is, again, 1.5. So it's going to be 1.5 multiplied by 1.5. And I'm going to multiply that by pi, which I can substitute in 3.14 for that. The value of pi, of course. So the area equals 3.14 times 1.5 times 1.5. Well, notice I have to square the radius first. So I have to do 1.5 times 1.5 before I can multiply by 3.14. Order of operations, right? Do what has an exponent before multiplication, or if you write it out in parentheses like this, you have to do what's in parentheses before multiplication. So it's going to be the area equals 3.14 multiplied by, well, let's see what 1.5 times 1.5 is. So I'm grabbing my calculator, I'm doing 1.5 multiplied by 1.5, and it gives me 2.25. All right, my final step here, multiplying these together. And notice I use a dot here for multiplication. You can use parentheses if you so choose. You could even use the multiplication symbol, but we try to get away from that as much as we can in algebra here. All right, the area equals 3.4 multiplied by 2.25. That gives me 7.065. All right, now it says, if necessary, round your answers to the nearest 2 decimal places. So if it's 7.06, I'm going to look at the number after the 6 to see if I round up or down. Since it's 5, that tells me I need to round up, because if it's between 5 and 9, that means I need to round up the number before it. So my final answer here is going to be 7.07. And since it's meters, it's going to be meters. And then since we're talking about area, meters squared. So that's going to be my area compared to my circumference. All right, I know this looks a little big and not very clean, and so we'll do one more problem together so you can kind of see how it look on your paper. Circle has a diameter of 40 miles. So I'm going to do circumference equals the diameter multiplied by pi. So C equals 40 times 3.14. And then you could write your answer right here. What does that equal? And then we'll do the area. So area equals pi multiplied by the radius squared. So it's going to be area equals 3.14 multiplied. Well, here I have the diameter, so half of my diameter will give me my radius. So my radius equals 20 miles. So that's half of 40. And it's going to be 40 squared, so area equals 3.14 multiplied by 40 squared. Well, I know 4 squared equals 16. So if I do 40 squared, it's just going to be 16, but with 2 zeros on the end. All right, so it's going to be 3.14 multiplied by 1600 or 1600. And that means my area is going to equal, let's see, if I do the math here, 3.14 multiplied by 1600, that gives me 5,024. That's going to be miles squared. All right. So that's how it should look on your paper for each of these problems. Nice and clear, concise, step by step. And then after you finish that page, you're going to be looking at how this applies in the real world. And this will get us ready for the activity that we're going to be doing next. It's finding everyday things we see, like a bike tire or the top of a table or a Ferris wheel. And we're going to calculate what the area and circumference of these items or visuals are. All right, so what we can do is grab a tape measure, or we could grab a ruler or a yardstick, and we're going to measure, in this case, the tire. And the radius of the tire from the center point outwards, it's 14 inches, which means my diameter is going to be 28 inches. All right, think about how we can use this, just like we did in these problems above, to calculate the area and circumference of this tire. Well, if it's asking for the circumference, that's going to be diameter times pi. Well, we can substitute in 28 for the diameter and then 3.14 for pi. And that's going to give us our circumference. All right. Next one here, it's asking for area. It says surface. That's just telling us that we're talking about the top of the table and not this body part, okay? So you can kind of ignore that word surface because you know what it's talking about. What is the area of that circle on top? Well, we have 2.6 meters for our diameter. So what would the radius be? Because we need that to solve the area. And you see in this picture, it's a little bit of an oval, but that's just because it's trying to give you a side view. It's actually a circle, okay? So go ahead and complete the rest of this page and the page above, and then you'll be all golden for the first activity here, and then you'll move on to lesson 2. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. You guys have been doing great so far. Keep up the great work. It's a great day to be a knight.